Hello friends, how are you today? I am so excited to show you this video. I've actually already recorded it, now I'm doing the intro because I am interpreting images in the Schumann chart. It just blows my mind, like it's so amazing. Because there are times when I get the intuitive impulse to mirror images in the chart. This is the chart this is Saturday, May 21st. Right now, we're right here. This is the current chart as I'm making this video. And in my video I released on Sunday, I talk a little bit about this chart. But what I want to do right now is I want to show you something about these waves that we just had prior to a few days ago. And I want to show you something. So here, when this wave happened, the energies were really interesting just because I have looked at this for so long now. I already have a sense when I see the shape of a wave, I can recall back to what else looked like that. And it gives me sort of a grounding in how to read the energy or how to interpret it. But then sometimes things happen like the chart stops and starts. When I saw this, I immediately saw a face right in here. And I thought, you know what? I thought that mirroring this section here would be really interesting. And it turned out to be amazing. And I did a video on that a couple days back. Well, so then what I did was I thought, you know what? That was so interesting, and this is sort of intriguing looking here. So I decided to mirror this because I thought maybe this story isn't done, okay? Because you see we had two waves, so to have two mirrored stories just made sense. And because there was previously two major figures associated with each of these waves that were somewhat different when waves like this have occurred in the past. So I thought, okay, I will look and see if there's another story. So the first images I'm going to show you are from mirroring this part of this second sort of piece that came after the wave. And how I mirror things is I do this. I grab it and then I flip it. Okay, so it's now a mirror of itself. And then I put it back together. Now this isn't exactly accurate here because I'm just doing it really quick. And then I set it up a certain way so it's easier to see, read, and interpret. And just look, see right here, you see the frog face? You can already see images in it. So what's fascinating is that I read the Schumann resonance as a map of human consciousness. And in the beginner playlist, I explain why. I have several videos that go over all of the information. And it's just amazing to me when I see images like this that come out of the Schumann. You're going to see there are some amazing images, and it just confirms to me this orientation that this is a representation of human consciousness because the images are stunning. And at the end of this video, I have some things that I just really wanted to say based on some inspiration, based on what I felt the images are communicating. But it's also based on a handful of the recent videos I've made since the lunar eclipse. So I made 2 videos on the lunar eclipse that were very interesting, and then so all the information has been building. And so when I make references to that, down below, I have linked to the videos that I'm referencing, and I put little notes. So if you want to get more, you can go and follow those links and look at more videos and build your knowledge and build your experience with the information, the chart, the resonances. And I invite you to do that. Okay, so let's take a look at what there is to see. This is the second mirrored image, and the thing that I focused in on was right here. See this shape here? You know what it came to me immediately? That it looked like a womb, a human womb that holds the human child. where conception occurs and where the furthering of the human race happens. And you know, it's interesting because this is exactly what I talked about in my video of the lunar eclipse with the goddesses. So it's amazing to see this on the Schumann. And do you see the little baby in the womb? You see the eye right here. See that? There's the little baby and there's the little baby body in the womb. That's how I perceive this. Now, let's look at the rest of this image. It's pretty fascinating. I'll just slowly move up from the bottom. This actually also looks like an upside down womb, and here with like the two, is it upside down or is it right side up? This kind of reminded me of the two fallopian tubes heading off here, and then the womb there. This was interesting. It's like a little star in the center. There's the womb and the baby. Now, look at these energies. It's pretty interesting. It gets intense. Here's some little green faces. I thought that was interesting. But look at the red around the white here. And I just thought, wow, this looks intense. It looks like, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of calipers, which we have seen on the Schumann several times over the past 2 or 3 years. Calipers, like measuring devices or even gripping devices. There might be another name for that I'm unaware of. And look at this here. This almost looks like an injection of something, right? A tube here with even like little measures here being injected. There's somewhat of a cross here. And then here's the handles. It's very red. It seems almost angry or intense or distraught, or that it really wants to come to our attention. And then you see here the brilliant purple, the deep purple, which to me always speaks of divinity, divine influence. And the divinity of the purple is to the side here. But you know what I was wondering? I was wondering if this was an image of the manipulation with these calipers and this injection here of the human womb and of the baby within the womb. That was just phenomenal. It was just amazing when I saw that. Now, there's hope here, and I want to show you where that is. See the baby here? There's the face. Do you see this circle above it? Like a traditional halo image. To me, what this says, the calipers come down to about the top of the womb. But do you see how the color shifts right as they try to touch the womb here? It's like there's an invisible wall here. And at the top of this wall is the halo over the baby. And there's something that came to me about this, which is God has the ultimate say. And our relationship with God is more important and takes higher priority than any manipulation by human or any other element. And we have all these issues with oil in the ocean, plastic in the ocean. Well, there's bacteria that has suddenly developed that eats this stuff. It's absolutely incredible. Mother Nature comes up with her own solutions. The divine has the ultimate say. Remember that. And it goes along very much with the meaning of the yod for the first image here. Maybe some of this is what will be revealed when Mercury moves forward. I don't know. But this is a pretty powerful image here. There's one last thing I want to show you. This is the first image. We were just looking at the second image. I'm not sure if I called it that, with the baby in the womb. So this was the first image that I did my last video on. And I want to just point to two things in here that I'd mentioned. The Ark of the Covenant here that I saw. And this fascinating wizard type looking energy. And when I put the wave images together, what I got was this. And it looked like there was something, being revealed. The curtains were parting. And I thought that the wizard was being revealed, or whatever this is here is being revealed. I'm not sure. But then something striking came to me as I was rewatching the video, because I see this face here doesn't look human, right? But this face here to the left and to the right look like a woman, and it's the same woman here. Right here in this little bitty part here on the right, and in this little bitty part here on the left. And in my video, I talked about how this reminded me of the three-headed goddess. And I thought, I've recently been reading about her. And then I realized that the three-headed goddess is Hecate, and that is Lilith. And that is who I did the majority of my goddess video on for the lunar eclipse. What I felt was that Lilith's energy was extremely prominent in standing forward, informing the Divine Mother about the psychopathy of Medea's actions and the terrible things that she was planning. And that Lilith had asked the Divine Mother to protect humanity and our homes. And that Lilith stayed in Cancer, the sign of Cancer, the sign of the human home, to protect us. And here's the thing, Lilith as Hecate is the protector, and she was in ancient times, the protector of the home from the non-physical realms. And look, what this essentially translates to is protection from the demonic, protection from non-physical negative entities that have malevolence towards the human home. And the thing is that through our history, our stories have been co-opted. And I feel like, because when I looked at the face here of the woman on either side of this strange face, it was almost like she was trying to speak out from behind it. And I realized when I rewatched the video that this speaks to the co-opting of Hecate and the turning of her into something negative when she was protecting humanity from that, right? So those forces have attempted to imbue human stories with their own flavor. And it's the same for Lilith. You know, her energy is not well understood, but she represents strength and independence within a woman who has become whole unto herself. And from that standpoint, she can then enter into a relationship with a man that is respectful of his wholeness, and where there is respect for each other and honoring of each other and accepting of each other and the divinity within each other. Okay? So in the stories of Lilith, we only hear about her relationship with Adam and her relationship with the dark forces, Prince, right? We don't hear what happens when she heals herself, regains her independence, recenters herself in the fullness of her own divinity, and steps forward. But I think that we're going to see what happens when she does that in the coming times, because I feel that women are being asked to drop what has been put onto us by forces that are anti-life and that are anti-humanity, and by forces that have co-opted our humanity and our femininity and told us what we had to do to be feminine, what women had to do to be strong, what women had to do to succeed. But let me tell you that nothing that they have told us shows women in their full strength as much as a woman taking care of, and with her husband, taking care of their sick child. A woman having a baby a woman caring for the family, a woman standing by her family, okay, standing by her partner, being there for him. And I'm using the traditional stories because this is where the strength is. This is the touch point for us culturally and for us as the human race. And it's important to touch in on what is real, what is true, and to move forward from there. And is it going to be different than the ancient, than it was in Greek times, or than it was in Roman times, or that it was even in Western culture pre-COVID? Yes, we've grown, we've expanded our consciousness, we've expanded definitions of things. But what hasn't changed is where the true value is. And that brings us to the Ark of the Covenant. And I took some notes because after I talked about the Ark of the Covenant in my video, YouTube suggested a video to me of the Ark of the Covenant by Jordan Peterson. And let me just quote, these descriptions of the Ark of the Covenant are from his video. So I might just link that below because I loved hearing him talk about it. And then I'm going to read this and then tell you my interpretation. Because I think that this gives us hope in these times when we are faced with these seemingly overwhelming energies. It's important to remember that God wins and that God is within us, and therefore we win as well. So the Ark of the Covenant, per Jordan Peterson's description, it is the dwelling place of God. The Ark of the Covenant is within the dwelling place of God. The holy people carry the Ark, but no one looks at it or touches it because of its great power. The Ark is in the center of the temple. The temple is in the center of the community. And the community is arranged around that which is untouchable, unshakable, and in his words, axiomatic, which means self-evident. It's just known and realized as the true value that it is by all who witnesses it, by all who are alive. It's about the process of the interaction of spirit with matter. And now this is my interpretation of this for the current time and for the Schumann image in the now moment. The Ark of the Covenant reveals itself on the Schumann. The Ark is the dwelling place of God. Where is the Ark of the Covenant today? Jordan Peterson said that at some point in ancient times, Solomon's temple replaced the Ark of the Covenant as the dwelling place of God. And where is that today? Well, our churches have failed us in this time, haven't they? Our temples have failed us. When did the leaders of the religions tell us to rely on God for support during times of COVID? They did not. When did they tell us that God could work miracles and heal us if we relied on his guidance and wisdom? They did not. And maybe on levels that were within specific communities, this may have happened. So I would suggest to you that although we viewed the churches, when we viewed the temples as the house of God, that we can look now and say that what it says in the Bible is that the body is the temple of the soul, that the house of God is within each living human being. It's within you and it's within me. It simply asks us to call it forth and recognize it for what it is, something untouchable, unshakable, and axiomatic, completely self-evident, spirit into matter, the soul into the human form. The Ark of the Covenant is in the center of the temple. The divine is within the heart of the human being. The temple is within the center of the community. The human being who is a child of the Creator is at the center of community. The community is arranged around this, around the presence of God in the temple in the center of the community. Community, governance, finance, lawful structures should be arranged around and serve the divinity within the human being, in the human family, which makes up the community which honors God, the Most High, the Creator of the universe, the God of life, the Creator of all that is, living spirit in living matter, living source within the living human being, the living soul incarnated into your own human form.